keeping in within the time frame that we have. At noon, you'll have an opportunity, if you choose to come down and share just 15 to 30 seconds about your organization or your business with everybody that's here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We are so fortunate because we have two sponsors, and the first one, Noel Cardenas. Where are you? I saw you a few minutes ago. Okay, so Noel, come on up, Noel, and please give him a round of applause when Lauren comes.
Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. It's obviously start to the summer, and I think the heat and humidity's on, right? So stay hydrated because you don't want to end up in our emergency room. But just want to continue to share the great story and all the great things that are happening at Northeast. Wanted to share with you that we just recently started our bariatrics program at Northeast. We did our first surgery 2 weeks ago. Went extremely well. So we've got that program off and running with Dr. Wagner, and he's been with us now for about 6 months, and we're happy to get that program started. Many of you know that we completed all of the tower and all those great projects. Kingwood CCC is up and running and doing exceptionally well. Outpatient imaging is one of the big pluses out there because a lot of folks like the convenience of just stopping by there to get their MRI and CAT scan or bone scan, and even the mammography capability that we have there. So again, come out and see us. Again, that emergency room is open 24/7. I know that sometimes that area looks a little dark at night, but we are open and available to you all in that community. Also want to share with you that our projects at the hospital have not stopped. We've recently, we're about to start a project to completely renovate the west entrance, which we shifted everything from the east side, which is the 59 side. We're now operating mainly on our main focus is on that west side, the McKay entrance. And so we'll be completely renovating that area starting, it's actually getting ready to start in the next couple of weeks. And that'll probably be a little disruptive at the beginning, but again, we're creating a whole new waiting area there for surgery, as well as new patient, when you come in and do your pre-assessment, we're going to completely redo that, as well as we're going to renovate all of our operating rooms. So again, our advancements and renovations continue as we continue to serve the Lake Houston community from our hospital here at Northeast. A couple other things we'll be doing. We'll also be putting an interventional radiology room there that's totally dedicated to that. And at end state, we're currently at 2 cath labs, which we'll renovate those as well. But at end state, with the interventional radiology, we'll add catheterization capability in that room. So we'll actually have 3 cath rooms at Northeast now. So again, come out. If you need anything, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I know a lot of the community leaders, when they have a question or if it involves your family or so forth, please, again, don't hesitate to contact me directly or any of the other leaders at Northeast. But one last thing I do want to add is I closed last year. Memorial Hermann Northeast was I was part of the Heart Walk last year, and I chaired it. I've agreed to chair it again this year. So I'll be chairing that with Loanne from Generation Park. That's the folks up there because they're the ones that are actually sponsoring it this year at their location. So again, we changed the location from Lone Star to out here in this vicinity with at Generation Park. So that's actually set up for or scheduled for November 2nd. So we're already starting the planning. We've got our executive team, leadership team going. If you'd like to be a part of that, please let me know. We're looking for all sorts of businesses and so forth to support that effort. We're trying to, again, top last year's fundraising that we did, which, again, a lot of folks don't realize that a lot of that money goes to research and education as we look to stomp out heart disease in our communities. So, again, if you have any questions with regards to the Heart Walk and wanting to participate, you can reach out to me directly as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Noel. Obviously, Memorial Hermann is a great partner. And so the second group that we wanted to bring up today is with Moore's Supply Company. Claudia Horn, are you here, Claudia? Okay. And so please give her a big round of applause. This is the first year to be one of our sponsors.
Good morning, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here at Bizcom. Donna, I know we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary of having the Bizcom here at Summer Creek. Is it Summer Creek? But today is also another anniversary in American history or world history. Does anybody know what that is today? Yes, very important to us here, of course, for our freedoms, and just wanted to mention that today too. Very important. But what I want to talk to you today is plumbing. So I know that's everybody's favorite topic, right? You turn on your faucet at home and you don't think about it. You take your shower every day and you don't think about it as it should be. You shouldn't have to think about that. It should work perfectly every time. And Moore Supply Company here in Humboldt, if you haven't heard from us, we're off of North Houston Avenue in 1960. We feel like we're Humboldt's best kept secret, but we are actually plumbing nerds. We want to know all about your business as far as plumbing goes. Your toilets, your showers, your faucets, anything you'd like help on, we are there. Sam, thank you so much. I brought faucets to look at, y'all. We have this one, and we have one over there. So I brought with me just a couple of new trends. How many of y'all here are HGTV nerds? Go ahead and admit it now. It's okay. It's okay. We are too. We love HGTV because it does talk to us about what we can do in our home. Let's face it, when we travel and we go outside of our home, one of the best things that we love about staying in a hotel room or a resort is what? It's the bed, because it's awfully comfortable, right? But what's the second thing? The showers. Showers. You can have that at your house every day. You could be in a spa every day. So let us make it happen for you. Like I said, we're at North Houston Avenue in 1960. Moresupply.com is what you can do to look us up. I left some flyers out, but I'm here, Drew's here, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have. So thank y'all for having us.
Claudia, thank you also for mentioning D-Day, and Drew, line, raise your hand, please. Drew, we appreciate you being here. Also, we want to share with you, just at the bottom of the page, if you notice the gold sponsors. And so with this being a 10th anniversary, what a time to think back and be thankful for all the things that have happened and all the people that have helped make that possible. And Dwayne, if you wouldn't mind, Dwayne Johnson and his lovely bride, Erica, thank you. Everybody knows about Dwayne. That's okay. So, I don't know who's more important, Dwayne. So Dwayne, and wouldn't you agree with that, Trey? I mean, yeah, because we had the idea, and then Dwayne brought the food, and that's why people came. So, and we're glad of that. And then also HEB, Blake, raise your hand right here. Blake is just a tremendous sponsor, and also they have a 10-year anniversary cake in addition to supplying lunch for today. Great lunch, huh? So, and one of the things that I always like to brag on HEB, and I do where you order the groceries online. Wow, they are terrific. One day I neglected to press the button to put the order in, and I show up, and they said, "Mr. Gay, I'm sorry, we don't have that. But I tell you what, give us 30 minutes, we'll get it." And I guess you don't want to publicize that part, but it's too late. But we appreciate them so much. And then also K&S Sportswear, where are you? We appreciate you being here so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. And tell everybody your name real quick. What's your name, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Sarah Otis.
Sarah, we're so glad you're here. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then United Community Credit Union, I've got a couple people. And what are your all's names? We're so glad. Thank you so much as well. Yeah, give them a round of applause. And then Truman Enterprises, thank you so much for sponsoring. And then also Postnet Summerwood, Printing Princess. Okay, she's not here today. We can make jokes about her, but she does a great job. So we're so glad she's here. Okay, so right now, the next person that's going to speak is the principal. I almost made you superintendent already. Keep working at that, sorry. Dr. Fagan, you're not here, are you? Okay. So, Mr. McDonald, would you come up and tell us about what's going on at Summer Creek High School? Please give him a round of applause.
thank you, everybody. And my name is Brent McGowan. I'm the principal at Summer Creek High School, and I appreciate you being here today. But before I really want to give some thank you to Don and to Trey Kramer, who 10 years ago had the vision of having something like this in our community. So a big round of applause for those two. And everybody involved, all those that were involved in the first or still continuing the advisory board meetings and planning these things, bringing people together. And thank you for all that you do for our community and for Summer Creek High School. I have been here for 2 years now, but my family and I, we moved here 10 years ago to open this building. So we specifically relocated from Cy-Fair ISD to open Summer Creek High School. So on the front row, this is my wife, this is Angie McDowell. On the front row, she's one of the original Bulldogs, and we won't go into why she's not here anymore because it kind of is a sore subject. She was our girls athletic coordinator, basketball coach for the first 8 years, and now she's an assistant principal at Westlake Middle School, which she helps us make sure we're getting the great kids from Westlake coming over here to Summer Creek High School. Maybe, and some others coming over here also, but no, I'm glad. It really was a family decision, and if you didn't know about the family decision, just go to it. So next year at Summer Creek High School, our daughter, Brianna, will be a junior here at Summer Creek, and our son will be a freshman here at Summer Creek. So we're all in at this location with both of our kids. Go to Summer Creek High School. We're proud to, and proud to be a part of Summer Creek High School. So this past year, I want a quick recap. Hopefully you follow Twitter and Facebook of Summer Creek High School. If you don't, you need to kind of get on it and figure out what's going on, because we had another huge breakout year when it came to fine arts, when it came to our academics, and when it came to our athletics. So this is a building in which arts, athletics, and academics thrive. So really and truly should pay attention to see what's going on, because we just had the Vite magazine just came out with their top 10 female athletes of the entire area, Greater Houston area, top 10 female athletes, and 4 from Humble ISD, which is really quite impressive. 2 of them from Summer Creek High School, top 10 female athletes. So we of course had half days last year with Kingwood High School, and so our discipline just plummeted. When you have half days, right, Mr. Correa? When you have a half day, you can just imagine. So Mr. Correa over here, our building principal, just a couple years ago, a huge part of our Bizcom. So thank you, Mr. Correa. But when you go half days, you can all imagine that your discipline's going to drop because you're here half the time, right? So this year we go full days, so we're really kind of concerned. What's our discipline going to look like going in? Now we're going full days. So we got our news back and we dropped another 14%, 323 less referrals this year. So that's a big deal in my world. Whenever you can get your discipline down, no violence on a campus, I mean, you know, kids are gonna, public school system, but when you eliminate violence, there's no fighting on the campus. When discipline goes down, guess what you can focus in on? Academics. So now our kids now take more AP exams than they ever have, more dual credit classes than they ever have, and our scores have all gone up again this year. So to be quite honest, Summer Creek High School is trending in the right direction, exactly how Mr. Kramer had us going, Mr. Correa got us going. Now that's the direction that we're going right now. So thank you to everybody here today. And lastly, it's June the 6th, and since many of y'all are in business, and you know the value of human resource, you know the value of teachers, of quality employees. It's June the 6th. We're fully staffed. We have a waiting list of teachers that want to come to Summer Creek High School. So when someone resigns or moves and transfers and go, we got someone waiting to go right in there. And that's kind of a big deal. Whenever you can hire in April and May and get first round draft choices, now you have a waiting list of who wants to come here and wants to teach here. Because the reason our scores are going up and our discipline's going down is because of those teachers, because they're building relationships with our kids, and kids don't want to disrespect the teachers that they respect. So therefore, by having those kind of teachers here at Summer Creek, we just don't have knock on wood, the issues that maybe some other campuses, not Humble ISD, right? but other campuses. So thank you for being here today, but you are definitely on a campus that's trending in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. So many great things going on, but I want to kind of go back in time a little bit. If you could imagine, it's May 20th of 2009. And in a few minutes, Sam's going to show you what it looked like out in this area at that time compared to what it does to today. But we can talk all we want to about what's happened since then, but we invited today Trey Kramer to come and speak because we could have had great intentions all we wanted to, but without Trey, this would have never taken place. He had that vision, he had that desire to make it to be where it was a partnership between the community, the businesses, and also the school district. And it has been so successful. Trey, we're so grateful to you. Please come up and please give him a round of applause.
Well, it's good to be home. Anytime I can put on the Bulldog shirt, it's a good thing. I do have other siblings, and so this is being, live streamed or whatever. So my brothers and sisters at Atascocita and Humboldt High School and Kingwood Park, I love them too, but I am a Bulldog. So at the end of the day, I make no mistake about that. I don't want to. Thank you so much. Yeah, that'll be tweeted, and here I go. But I don't want to take much of your time. I just do want to say it is a privilege to be here. It is a privilege to serve as an assistant superintendent in our district and to get to have the pleasure of working with principals like Brent McDonald, principals like Nolan Correa, who Brent took over for when Nolan moved into central office, and the lineage of folks that have been here. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I just really can't. I remember showing up out here. There was literally nothing out here. I just thought, how are we going to make a connection? There's this place called Summerwood, this community. There was nothing down the Beltway. I mean, it was just, and like, how are we going to come in and make a connection? And so I reached out to some folks, and I do want to acknowledge, I will say this, none of this would have been possible ultimately. I will say I had the idea, but I had a lot of ideas back in those days. Most of them paid off for me, but I did have a few issues periodically with my crazy ideas, like painting on the back of the building, welcome to Bulldog Country, without getting it approved. Sorry, Dr. Sconzo. But he supported me, and life was good. But I do want to acknowledge this. So when you're in a system, it doesn't matter your employment, your business. When you have employees, when you have people in your organization that have a vision, that want to do things differently, this is a prime example of what can happen. I do want to acknowledge Dr. Sconzo was here today. Boss, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate your incredible tenure in our district. Gave me the opportunity to come to work here as the building principal. But I approached him before I went with this crazy idea because I was the new guy on the block, and he's like, Trey, whatever you want to do, I'll support it. And I never really dreamed, ultimately, that it would turn into what it has turned in. But it was that small vision of trying to figure out how we can bring a community together. I always knew in education, this is my 29th year, that so goes the school system, so goes the community. Period. End of discussion. You want people to move into your school, your district, you want people to put their roots down, you want people to raise their families, have a strong school system. Then have a strong faith-based community, and then have a strong business partnership, and there's a formula there. And the school systems and the businesses that can figure out how to make that work, they're the ones that are thriving, and everybody else is trying to figure all that out. So at the end of the day, there was a dream. How are we going to do it? And so I went business to business. I handed out flyers. We had this meeting and told Don our first name was like, it was like Summer Creek Business Community Park. I mean, it was like 7 or 8 words. And like, we can't even figure out how to do that. But ultimately, I do want to acknowledge the chamber, because what I realized then with the chamber is that they already had the system set up. They had their networking. I just needed to turn over the concept and said, this is what I think we can do here. Would you be willing to partner with us? And they said yes. And then we got food from Chick-fil-A. And then we had our first meeting, and it was crazy. And so I know Milton, there were several people, if you were here for that very first meeting, no Don was, Milton, I know you were, I know this my friend right here was, we had hard hats on. And we walked in this building, and I showed them the building for the first time. And that was the original, I think there was maybe 10 to 12 people there. And what it's turned in today, over the course of 10 years, so you guys know, that in all 5 of our comprehensive high schools, and we split, alternate between Kingwood and Kingwood Park, 4 times a year, we open up our facilities that are community facilities paid for by our taxpayers, supported by our families, our businesses. We open them up, we have dialogue just like this. You hear from our principals, you get updates, you get to network. And the concept for me never was about what the Bizcom could do for me or Summer Creek. It was what the Bizcom could do for our community. Never was. I never asked for anything. Never came out and said, we need your monetary help. But what happened is, as a result of doing that, we're blessed beyond. We get more now than we ever thought we could, but we never ask. And so my just general statement to you guys, and my heartfelt message this morning is that in your organizations, in our communities, we're only as strong as we want to be. And if we're willing to partner with people that come from all different backgrounds, all different parts of the world that have ended up right here, because we're right here by Intercontinental Airport. We've got Generation Park that's rolling now. And what I envisioned 10 years ago to what the reality is now, it's exceeded my expectations. And so I do want to thank Don. I will tell you that in our first year, Don and I went to Austin. We received a state award for this concept. I've heard that the Chamber of Commerce also has received a national award for this concept. And it boils down to, it's when one person, it just takes one person to think a little different, to act a little different, and to be willing to take that first step. And when you get people around you willing to step out, we're successful. So again, Dr. Sconzo, thank you. I appreciate your leadership and giving us this opportunity. Dwayne, Erica, thank you guys for being willing to be there. Memorial Herman, I know our folks, there were several key folks that were with us when we first started this, and without their support, we would not have been able to do that. And I do want to say, Brent and Angie are very special to me. When you open up a building, you get to hire everybody. And I hire great people. And there's great people that were hired on this building that are in very key positions in this district today, and I'm proud of that. And the reality is that there's ebbs and flows and there's season for everything. In Summer Creek, again, we've had our ups and downs, but I'm telling you right now, as a community and as a school, what Brent and his staff are doing, you have no idea the incredible things that are going to happen in this building in the next 3 to 5 years in this community. And we need to get that message out there. We need our realtors to bring families into all of our communities. If you want to come see a building, contact the building principal. You got a client that wants to go to Kingwood High School, take them to Kingwood High School, let them meet Michael Nazareth, and we're good to go. So the bottom line is, my time is up. I do want to say thank you. It is an honor to serve, and it's been an honor to watch my vision grow beyond something that I never could have thought of, and I look forward to great things to come. Thank you guys so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. Sam, if you don't mind showing a few pictures, we just want to show a few pictures of what it was like back then as opposed to today. Yep, let me see. That's one of our, that's Westlake, Houston, and Beltway 8 right there.
That's the gas station right there.
Oh, that's the gas station.
That's the, gas station.
Okay.
That's the CVS.
CVS, okay.
That's the gas station again. Gas station. That's Generation Park back there.
Okay.
Right.
So they get the picture of 10 years ago. So let's see what's today.
That is
That's Summer Creek right there. Okay. So,
you don't, that's another good shot at Summer Creek. And, that's the retention pond over there.
okay. So when you go outside, look and see what it's like now. Is that right?
There's a cool shot right there.
Yeah.
That's looking southbound down Westlake Eastern Parkway. No beltway.
No beltway.
No beltway.
Yeah. Lots happened in the last 10 years, right? Okay, so thank you so much. We're so glad. And now we want to think about the present and the future. But before we do that, I did want to say, Dr. Sconzo, thank you. We appreciate you so much, and thank you for being here. Mr. Correa, also, thank you so much. Yes. One of the things, and also Mr. McDonald and Trey, for me, it's been a pleasure to work with all of you. And I also thank Dr. Fagan also, because she has been so supportive of this program, and we really appreciate it, as well as school board members. You wouldn't mind raising your hands. We appreciate you so much. Okay, so on to what's 10 years and counting. So some of the things that we want to be thankful for too is Generation Park, because obviously what they're doing, Ryan and Ian and all of that group, I can just hardly imagine what's going to happen here over the next 10 years. But a part of that already, we have Dr. Alicia Harris, who is with San Jacinto College. Please give her a big round of applause.
And the pictures took me back. I moved here from Dallas 11 years ago, and my husband and I drove down here for me to interview. I was president of the North Campus, and where the CVS was going to be, we pulled over because we were sure the map had taken us somewhere totally wrong. We were in nowhere, and that's where we pulled over to call. And they said, no, just keep coming. So thanks for that little flashback. Happy to be here. Do I have a remote? You're my remote. Well, click on, my friend. Many of you know Dr. Brenda Hellier, our chancellor. Brenda couldn't come today, and so I came in her stead to give you an update. I saw some of you at the groundbreaking, but some of you are new to me, and I'm pleased to meet you. Currently, I serve as Vice Chancellor of Strategic Initiatives, Workforce, Community, and Diversity. And I was a part of the early conversations when about 5 years ago, when we started looking at the property here in Generation Park to see about developing another campus. The first step was to convince our board that this area really was going to develop, and it was an important investment for our taxpayers because that was our tax district. That took a little while. Don't record that. But once they got on board, we started moving pretty quickly. I don't know how many of you know San Jac. How many of you know San Jac or have experience with? Then I won't tell you much except to give you an update. We're 58 years old. We have 4 campuses, and you'll note one coming soon. Our oldest is in Pasadena, the North Campus there at Wallaceville and Uvalde. Then our South Campus opened, which is down off of 45 on Beamer Road near NASA. We have a maritime campus, which is at the Turning Basin down on the water, and we teach maritime programs there. And our newest campus will be here at Generation Park. We have about 40,000, back it up please, about 40,000 students each year. People think of one campus or another when they assess our size, but overall we have about 40,000 credit students and about 6,000 non-credit students each year. A long history with workforce training, but the reality is probably 55% of our students come to us for academic transfer. We have an elected board of trustees, as do all of the colleges here in Texas. And each year we graduate about 7,500 students with associate's degrees or certificates that have value in the workplace. So our plans and a couple of pictures. We'll open fall 2020. We have a really aggressive building cycle underway currently. The initial building will be complete next summer. Our chancellor really wanted it complete in the spring so we could open in the summer, but the rain would not permit that to happen. At that center, we'll offer academic transfer courses initially because we know there's a need for that, and that's a stable way to start. a campus. We will be adding workforce training to some extent, but we're going to get to know the community better. We have a couple of groups discussing now what programs fit for this community and will be an add-on for us and an asset for the community. We'll be offering non-credit classes and corporate training, so as businesses determine their needs, we do that already all over our district. We're available, and we'll start doing that as soon as we identify the need and people say, hey, we'd love to have a class in such and such at our business or our community. Then our team will get on it and develop what you need, and we'll be happy to deliver. We can start that before the campus opens, so if anybody's looking for training in this area, we're happy to deliver. A lot of our more popular non-credit classes are leadership classes or management classes for companies. We'll focus on whatever aspect your leadership determines is needed. We do OSHA training. We have a lot of computer training that we do, and develop programming by request. The pictures are always more interesting. So this is the vision long term. And the ultimate expectation, we have 57 acres. The ultimate expectation is we should have probably 6 buildings, and we anticipate over the next 10 to 20 years we'll have a full campus. Our goal would be 14,000 students. We'll have, just so you know what it'll look like, a little bit of parking. Will be different than anything we've developed. We'll have parking garages because our space is limited, and we'll use more space for academic learning. One more, please. This is the conceptual drawing of the first building, and you really can't see the colors in this, but there's a nice blue-gray sort of slate color against, that's on the facade, along with the white and with the brown brick. That's the theme that we'll use as we develop the other buildings. This is actually, okay, so you'll know the secret, this is actually Building 2, but we're not allowed to call it Building 2. We're calling it the initial building because we're building Building 2 first, and Building 1 will come next. About 5 years ago, we engaged with a signage company, and so all of our campuses have really good signage, but they map, when they plot your land and look at it, where each building will be, and so this first one technically is Building 2. But it's a general classroom space, and that's also how we're able to build it and bring it into use more quickly. So not a lot of specialized, we'll probably have a couple of labs in there, but not a lot of specialized features in that building. And the work has begun. If you've driven by, we've broken ground, plans are underway, and we'll be here very soon. We'll be hiring an executive director over the summer. We'll have 2 deans, and we'll draw personnel from our existing campuses. We anticipate probably 3,000 students is what our designers have told us we should expect over that first year. We'll be bringing, faculty will apply, and similar to what my friend from Summer Creek was saying, our faculty are very eager to come up here and teach. But they'll have to apply and be accepted. I think we'll have some of our very best here, and we'll also bringing in some new folks. So we're excited, we're happy to be a part of the community, and it really doesn't look like it did 10 years ago. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, yes, ma'am, sir.
Students from Omaha ISD, will they be considered in district for tuition?
No. There's a part of Omaha ISD that does pay taxes to San Jacinto College District. The southern part of Summerwood is in our taxing district, and so obviously they would. But at this point in time, we wouldn't change that and allow the in-district tuition. If we work with employers who are in the Generation Park area and someone's an employee of one of the employers in our taxing district, in the non-credit there are different kinds of agreements that can be reached, but probably not for the Humboldt students who are around here.
I say what, will you be here?
I will.
Okay. She'll be.
Yeah, thank you.
Please give her a round of applause. Sorry, I cut that short, but make sure you did a great job. We really appreciate it. So before we go to the next one, I did want to come back, and Trey had mentioned our advisory board group, and if you wouldn't mind raising your hand if you were the first time that we had this. I know there were several of you. Come on, raise your hand. There you go. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate you so much. And Barbara Provance, thank you. I don't know how many times she's done notes. She miraculously gets those back. Yeah, 43 times. Yeah, and she gets them done. And I really attribute a lot of our growth to what you've done with that, because people were able to read it. We were able to get a lot of people interested. And thank you, Barbara. So, and then also some other people. Obviously, Jenna Armstrong. Thank you very much for Chamber of Commerce, and your predecessors, Mike Byers. He was always so good about reaching out to us. We were out in the boondocks. And then Charlie Drumgold, who had, I think, that vision of having it across the district. And then y'all selected Corinne Price to get it in place in all the other high schools. She did an amazing job with that, so thank you. And then Chris Odell, I know that you know, we may want to come together as a community and give her a raise. I'm just saying. Okay, so, but we appreciate you all so much. And then Sam Schrade, if you get a chance to go out and Google Bizcom, I think there's things out there from all the way back, and we still look the same age, even though it's been 10 years ago. So we appreciate that, Sam. But thank you so much. Now, part of the Chamber of Commerce and what they do is, and Mark, when you come up, can you just explain just a little bit about how your positions come about and what you do? Because that is a great success story. Please give Mark Mitchell a huge round of applause as he comes up to talk about economic development.
Thank you, Don. I'm still not quite sure what I do, but I'm working on it.
We aren't either.
Ba-doom-pooch. Okay, thanks, Jenna. Thanks, Jenna. I know. So thank you for the invitation, Don. I appreciate the opportunity of coming here. And I actually presented, I think it was December of 17, just 4 or 5 months after I started a couple of years ago. And this is home for me, just so all of you know. When I first moved here from Michigan in 2008, we moved into Summerwood and lived there for 5 years. So I've got 2 principals that saw me probably more than they wanted to over those 8 or 9 years before we moved to Kingwood. But Brent took care of my boys at Wood Creek and was a great principal there. And then in turn has been a great principal at Summer Creek. And then Trey's been everywhere all the time. He's been a great asset and very helpful, and continues to help my younger son now as we speak at Kingwood High School. So we lived in Summerwood for 5 years, and again, those pictures that you saw don't do justice. There was no beltway from 59 all the way around, so it was a long trek going over to the Galleria from here when I first moved here to commute. But this is a fantastic community, has grown immensely, and part of my responsibility is job creation, capital investment, and tax base. And so part of what I try to do is identify existing companies and new companies coming to the community that are looking to grow, and in turn create quality jobs for us, and in turn create or help keep the schools at a high quality level that they exist at right now. So Sam, if you could go to the next. So this is just kind of context for everybody. This is the entire Lake Houston area. So as you look here, that 1980 census, almost 60,000 people. So 2018, we're at 282,000 folks. And projected in 2023, we're going to be close to 320,000 people. So even as we sit from here to here, that's almost a 5-fold increase in population. And so business has been booming, population has been going crazy, and so a big part of that for the Lake Houston area is being driven by 77044. It's one of the fastest growing zip codes in the Houston metro, and probably arguably in the state of Texas. So concrete jungle, Sam, we go to the next one. So as you look at this slide, you kind of see all the white speckles kind of all here, and this is Jersey Village and Hudson and Deco. And so as we get closer to the east and the north, this is the Beltway right here, and this highlighted section, that's the new piece, and we're sitting right here right now. So if you notice, all of this is kind of a grayish, but here is all kind of green. And so that's why you're seeing this significant growth. This is kind of the last frontier for the Houston metro. We've got literally thousands of acres of developable land with 4,000 acres just sitting right to the next of us. And you'll see the impact of Generation Park to this area as we kind of go through the presentation. Go ahead, Sam. So Beltway 8, this is again, this little section where we're at right now, 85,000 unique vehicles a day drive by here. So all of your businesses that exist, and this number is just going to keep growing as we go forward. So again, just something to think about if you're looking. Don and I, well, Don moved. Don and I have talked about him relocating his business and whether it was a good thing to move over onto this side. And I think you're going to be very happy with the relocation decision kind of pushing forward. Go ahead, Sam. This is just broader context, and this is a conservative number. This is just what I could 100% say this is real. But for the Lake Houston area, in the last 2 years, we've got close to 3.9 million square feet of either completed, under construction, or announced space that's going on in our area. And again, that's conservative. And so we'll go to the next one, Sam. This is just the Summer Creek area. So look at that as a percentage of that total growth. And again, this is just one zip code. And so this actually doesn't include all of the development, the retail development on the other side. This is just really the bigger part of Generation Park and the things that are going on inside the park. This doesn't include the marketplace development, the Kroger, the Ulta, the Dick's Sporting Goods, and all of that stuff across the street. Go ahead, Sam. So just within Generation Park, 250 say, GHX, the luxury apartments, Lone Star Process Tech, Sandjack's first building, and then the IKEA. That's over 1.8 million square feet of space. Now think about this in context of this is only 5% of Generation Park. So think about that over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then Sam, we can hit the next one. So again, we talked about the befores and afters. This is the before. CVS and the gas station, and these weren't even there when I got here. So, and this is the outline for the high school. So when I moved here, the high school wasn't here either. It was just Summerwood Elementary School, and that was it. Wood Creek wasn't there, high school wasn't there. Was nothing out here. So it was a long drive to the HEB in Atascocita. So now look at what we've got here now. And so, and again, all of this space here now, we even have the Lowe's right now that's sitting vacant, and we're working to figure that space out in terms of the development moving forward. But again, look at the magnitude of this and what's going on out here. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You heard Dr. Alicia talk about the San Jacinto College. 54 acres is a lot. So when you talk about 14,000 new students over the next 5 to 10 years or 15 years being out here, again, the dynamics are going to continue to grow. The great thing about all of this is this is planned development. So much development in Houston takes place with no zoning. There's no zoning here, which was new for me coming from the Midwest. In the Midwest, you kind of plan where things are going to be. Houston, you don't kind of do that. Here, you're going to see long-term value because the right things are next to each other. And so I've seen situations over in the Galleria where you've got a church and a daycare center and just all kinds of stuff right next door to each other that should not be right next door to each other. So this is going to be a really good long-term development, especially with the magnitude of the Beltway and how they built it out. Let me go ahead, Sam. So as we look right now, the big items are fulfillment, office professional space, flex space, and manufacturing. And then go ahead, Sam. So, and this just gives you a context of the Lake Houston overall area. The upper corner right here, that is Inspirity's new announced 10-story tower. This is the groundbreaking for the 110 acres that's in Humble, where you see that ginormous building on the Beltway, or not the Beltway, 59 and Will Clayton. That's a 685,000 square foot, 42-foot clear height building. And then there's another 300,000+ square feet under construction to the east of that. And I'm working with the city of Humble on 600,000 to 900,000 additional square feet along that corridor. This is the new United hangar. We actually did a tour, Lake Houston Leadership Day, Economic Development Day. We actually toured that facility. It's about 75% done now. That's 330,000 square feet. And then if you haven't been in this building yet, you've got to go into 250 Assay, which is right across the street, Wholesome Pies has here's a plug for them, has their grand opening tonight. And the pizza is really good. I went to the block party a month ago, and the pizza was great. So we'll hit the next one. And then the Memorial Herman, I stole your slide, I'm sorry. The Sanjak building, Kingwood, and then Jackson Shaw. These are the buildings that are going on in Humble right now. And again, we've got more planned for that area. And I think this is the one that's most amazing. So the Harris County market value for properties is 507 billion. There's 1.4 million parcels in Harris County. This is the Lake Houston area, 22 billion total. We've got about 98,000 parcels. Sam, hit the next one. This is what's staggering for 77044. And I have to give a shout out to the county. They helped me pull all this data together and make it pretty. 2013 appraised value for 77044 was 1.85 billion. 2018 appraised value for 77044 3.57 billion. And I've got 2 minutes left. And so I'm doing good. And again, the taxable value again doubled in that same amount of time. So as we talk about the school districts, as we talk about tax collection at municipal and county level, this is the kind of thing that we want to see, and we've got good demographics behind it. You heard Principal McDonald talk about the caliber of the students and the teaching staff, and this all bodes extremely well from an economic development perspective. 2015, best largest school district in the state, HEB Excellence Award. 2018, best school board, HEB Excellence Award. So it makes it really easy for me when companies are coming in from Italy or Mexico asking about the school systems. That's what the CEOs want to know for both their family and for their employees. So we've got a great recipe with Humble ISD as far as value add, and we continue that as we support the school. And then this is just contextually the market value. So the top one, and this was surprising to me, was 77346. Their market value is like 5.6 billion, but they've also got the most parcels. So this is market value, this is number of parcels. So when you look at 77044, which is here, we've actually got a commensurate, a little bit higher market value in terms of parcels. And so again, the development's being done the right way here. So everyone should be really excited about this pushing forward. And Sam, that might be my last slide, and I'll stick around for Q&A, and I know we've got to push forward.
Wow. One of the things that I know for the people that have lived in the Summerwood area for a long time that they've been clamoring for is places to have nice meals, to sit down and have meals. So today we have a grand opening, and if you wouldn't mind coming on up, Adam, please, and give him a huge round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Oh, excuse me, I've been losing my voice, so I'm excited to be here to talk about our 2 new restaurants in the area. So that one was Wholesome Pies. So we've got a great mural on the wall right here. This is done by Gonzo247, if you ever want to look him up. He does some great murals in Houston and does great graffiti art. So at 250 Assay Street, Wholesome Pies and Wholesome Kitchen are going to occupy 7,700 square feet of restaurant space. Wholesome Pies is going to be a wood-fired pizzeria that serves made-to-order, thin crust Neapolitan pizza. Wholesome Pies offers seasonal items using all organic ingredients. We also make our own mozzarella and hand-toss our dough. We have a mix of community table seating, you can see here, individual tables and bar seating where patrons can watch the pizza being made. You don't have a slide, but it's going to be right back here. There's a big open spot where you can watch them hand-toss the dough. It's a great place to watch the game. So, Wholesome Kitchen, I don't know if you have a picture of that. There's Wholesome Kitchen, that's a great picture. We've had some new interior developments since this picture, but it's going to be more of your steakhouse atmosphere. Goodness, pardon my voice, I'm losing my voice. So it's going to be more of your steakhouse atmosphere. It's going to be beautifully decorated with modern, bright feel, marble and brass accents. It's going to be a perfect date night location, weekly dinner spot, and comfortable social scene, and a large bar and lounge area That's in the back there. I don't know if we have another picture of that, but. So we have big plans for this area. Before long, the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel and luxury apartments just across from our space are going up. And we feel that this is going to be a go-to destination for Houston. We're excited and proud to provide 2 new unique restaurant concepts that are going to serve quality food and beverages to the area. During the first few weeks, Wholesome Kitchen will be open starting at 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, closed on Sunday and Monday. So follow us on Facebook for our extended hours, future plans for brunch, and updates to the menu. Wholesome Pies is currently open from 11 to 10, Monday to Saturday, and closed Sunday. So for Wholesome Pies, Uber Eats is available right now for delivery, if any of you guys want to have our delicious pizza at home. Favor and DoorDash will be next. And so today, I want to invite you to our grand opening at 4:30. We have our ribbon cutting. We're very excited about that. We're going to do half-off pizzas, half-off drinks. Over at Wholesome Kitchen, we're going to do hors d'oeuvres and past menu samplings and special drinks. And so, bring a friend, bring lots of friends, and join us in our festivities tonight. We start at 4:30. Thank you.
Just in case, just to make sure we all know where that is, if you know where Generation Park, where McCord Development's building is, that's downstairs underneath that. And so one of the things with the Heart Walk is Noel mentioned that's going to be on November 2nd. So I'm going to make a shameless plug for that because I'm on that executive board and going to have a team. So if you want to be a part of that, let me know. But the reason I brought that up is we had our kickoff over there and they brought out food. It's going to be great. So we're excited about that. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, so the next person that we have, Roger Rangel, where are you? Okay, Roger, come on up. And he's going to tell us about a program with Harris County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to the Chamber, and thank you for your time for attending. Joining me today is Jacqueline Fortnite, not Fortnite, Director. Sorry about that. I'm okay for that. Sergeant Stephanie Villegas, and from Port Valens, Jay Lou. Thank you very much joining. As you guys are growing, as you guys are building a strong community, as you guys are expanding and all that, the Harris County Sheriff's Office want to help you protect your assets. They want to protect the facilities and the businesses. And so I'm going to start out with this initial thought. When was the last time you did a walkthrough of your premises? When was the last time that you did a site assessment or checked your security or did a training or talked to your employees? As I visit a lot of businesses, I like to walk up to the employees and I'll ask them, I said, when was the last time you attended a security meeting? And I get this deer in the headlight look, like, do it a what? Yeah. So if you haven't done one this month, do it. Next one. There are 3 components for a loss to occur. Go ahead. Is perceived motive and justification. Number 2, access and ability. And number 3, low perception of risk. Let me tell you, these crooks, when they visit your businesses, that's the first thing they look at. They want to see the aura of a business. Cameras, the locations, the locks, and things of that nature. And they're always looking and looking. Next one. Case in point. For example, you have the camera facing downward, and then you have a broken sign here that says these cameras are always 24-hour surveillance. The crook sees that. They say, they don't care, they're not checking. Or you walk into your access in the front, and the access control is broken, but yet you have all kinds of signs there that says, oh, we watch and we secure and we verify. Next one. Or you walk into inside the business and you see a makeshift type of an alarm contact that's there. And believe me, these crooks know what to see. Or broken security equipment. Here's the latest one. This was a couple of weeks ago at SNR Liquors. The crooks knew that the owner hadn't checked the system. And he knew. He went in there and did this in front of the motion. The light didn't go on. So what happened that night? He went in there in the front of the door, took the strip off the window,
and had suction cups, and took the suction cups off, set it aside, walked in, and took liquor, beer, cigarettes. Again, they checked. Or door contacts. Dismantled the magnet, put it to the door, and it'll never go off. Next one. Or your employees will see broken things. You know, motion sensors. Broken contacts in the roof, access to the roof. Okay, next one. So, when crooks see these things, the result is this. They'll come in and they'll roll, you know, inside the premises after hours. Or they'll come into the front door because they know it's not being monitored. Or they'll case the area. What all this brings me to is ability to see, next one, is to have access to the cameras so that you guys can see it. Now, robberies. According to the news reports, robberies by the top store is C-stores, restaurants, dollar stores, cell phone and electronics. This is fast, up and coming. Pharmacy, and Monday being the most frequent targeted for robberies. And the time of day is 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. So, and go ahead and follow. Yeah, go ahead, quick. In a time where there's burglars in action, an armed robbery, workplace shooting, civil disturbance, or alarms, two things that law enforcement wants to look at: situational awareness and the description of the suspect. They want to be able to have those two key information to be able to expedite emergency response. Latest workplace shooting. My heart, thoughts, and prayers go out to the victims of the Virginia shooting. Chief said that the first urgent calls that Chief said were received at 4:08 p.m. And less than 2 minutes later, officers were outside the building, which over the years have become what he called a honeycomb of rooms and passageways. There was no time to consult a blueprint, no time to map out a strategy. They had to find the gunman. So they went by the sound of the shooting. And this brings me to this: the Harris County Secure Watch Program. Right? This is how it works. You call for 911 help. The call goes straight to the emergency dispatch. They have access to the cameras, and they dispatch law enforcement. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's a free platform for a security system, a free web registration, and an free on-site assessment of cameras. And this is what it looks like. You'll get a placard on front of the door. And again, the Harris County Sheriff's Office will not always just access the cameras. What they'll do is only in time of a 911 event that the cameras will be triggered and they have access. Next one. Here are some of the benefits. It's free of charge. Real-time intelligence is opportunity to apprehend the suspects. It's free and safe and secure and reduces your false alarms. Okay, here's what you need: a camera system to apply, and it must be operational, and an active alarm permit, and also it's a minimum of 5 megabits per download and 1 megabit upload internet for a live access. Supports major retailers, vendor cameras. Next one. And here are some other optional services that's available for you in case you want to register. We could register today if you're interested. And this is how you register. Thank you very much.
So will you stay for?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. When we first started out with Summer Creek Bizcom, if you notice at the bottom of the page, it was a mission statement that was put together by our advisory board. And when that first started, the number one issue that people were concerned about was crime. So it's gotten better here, but one of the things that I think is a safe thing to say, we need to be vigilant, not village too, but vigilant. Something about up here causes words to come out weird. So I know, but I think it's very, very important for these things to take place. And one of the things I haven't heard as much about that recently, so I think this is great that we have that. So now what I want to do is I want to kind of combine our other community announcements. If you're wanting to be able to say 15 seconds, 30 seconds about your business or whatever organization you're with, please line up here. You'll be able to do that. And also, I wanted to make some announcements. And Ms. Perez, did you want to say anything about the tournament tomorrow? Okay. So Ms. Perez has promised me there's going to be great weather tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. 6:30 is when you can come in. Tomorrow, Summer Creek High School is having their athletic department 10th annual Bulldog Open, and that's going to be at Tour 18. And I'm sure Ms. Perez would be happy to sign up teams for that. And it is 6:30 registration tomorrow, 8 o'clock shotgun start. Breakfast is served, lunch is served afterwards, and it's a great cause. Coach Harrison is doing a terrific job with the athletic department. Holy Trinity Episcopal School, Troy, Roddy, are you up here? Are you here? Okay, so they're going to be rebranding some things at Holy Trinity Episcopal School, so keep that in mind. We showed a few minutes ago, and we'll actually show this again when we're finished. Generation Park Block Party this year had over 4,500 people at it, and had a fireworks display that was amazing. So a lot of wonderful things going on here. We talked about the save the date. Now, does anybody else, let me see here. I wanted to make sure. Jessica Tones, did you want to come up for just a minute, please? And did you want also Rhonda and Tracy?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Okay. Well, you're going to have to dance afterwards. You know that, right? Okay.